we have Sheriff Mike Savokinas on the air. Hopefully he'll be able to walk us through this and explain what exactly happened here, Sheriff.
How you doing, Steve? Thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, basically, where do you want to start? I could give you a quick rundown of basically what happened. I will tell you, I received a call from Joe Holden, and he was questioning some time for my chief, and I explained to him, he was on some time off. I didn't have that exact figure right in front of me at the time, and I then requested my chief to give Joe a call. My chief put out a call to Mr. Holden, and we didn't get any response back. And then we show up at the building, and obviously you saw what transpired on tape, and it just was, to me, it came across that we were being accused of some kind of theft or some kind of wrongdoing. And I take offense to that personally, because you could call me whatever you want, but a thief is not one of them. And, I could speak for my chief as well. We haven't done anything illegal, and the story came off that it looked like we did something wrong, or the chief did something wrong, and my administration did something wrong. And that's what led to the news coverage, the news footage.
So how is it, Sheriff, that the payroll records do not reflect vacation time for your chief?
See, and I could explain that to you when I came into office almost 2 years ago, basically in a turmoil. We were never instructed, we never were given proper instructions by payroll. I've asked, as elected official, what benefits I have, and I also asked for my management. And quite frankly, nobody could give me a definitive answer. They said, you are an elected official, you run your office, and there was no definitive answer. So I went off of prior administrations, and basically the prior administrations, probably going back before I was born, it was if you were a manager, you were paid a set salary. And that salary, whether you were off on a vacation day or not off on a vacation day, is the same. And I could tell you, internally, I keep records for the managers. And the payroll clerk that submits this paperwork, and I'm not going to point the finger at anybody, I believe that it was something that was never addressed, and we were just operating status quo. I went over today to the payroll department. I looked into it, and now they tell me, well, it should be documented on that particular form. And I said, well, it'll be documented on that form. So that's what I was trying to tell Mr. Holden. And quite frankly, if you look at it, Steve, if it was documented vacation time or sick time, it would have been the same. His salary is the same. He gets paid every 2 weeks, and basically he gets the same paycheck. The man doesn't put in any kind of overtime, and I could tell you we're a little unique because we're a law enforcement office. At 5 o'clock, I can't shut my phone off and say, okay, I'm going home for the day. We receive calls middle of the night to go out and help police departments, various agencies. So it's something that we constantly work, and we're out there and we're working. And, I just, like I said, I took offense to it because it came across like we're out there trying to defraud the public or take something. And believe me, that's furthest from the truth.
Well, does your chief receive a certain number of vacation days every year?
Well, to be honest with you, I mean, again, not having anything in stone from the county, I was basing it off of, if you have an entry-level deputy, a union deputy, they would come in at approximately 2 weeks vacation. You could carry that time over, and same goes for sick time. You accumulate, I believe it's a day a month. That's what a unionized employee receives. But I was never given, basically instructions on what, managers receive. And to be honest with you, I mean, my two managers, I mean, they come in day and night, and we're there to all hours of the night. So, I mean, it was an error, and, it'll be rectified. But I just want to get the point out there that, it came across like a theft. And, Steve, with a theft, you have to either take something in exchange from the public, and that's the furthest thing from the truth. It's not a theft. The error will be corrected, and it'll be deducted accordingly.
So
go ahead, Steve. I'm sorry.
So if he does receive vacation days, is he allowed to accumulate those days, and then if he were to leave for another job, could he cash those unused vacation days in?
You know what, Steve? That's what I'm being told just today. I went over, talked to payroll, and they're saying, yeah, that he could do that. And I said, well, to me, that I was never told that, and we were under the impression that, your management, you're salaried, and, you get paid the same whether you're on a vacation day or not on a vacation day. And again, I was keeping it internally days off, and it was something that the payroll, if you look at all the other payroll records, we use the same system, it gets submitted a lot over to the county. I recommend that, and I recommended it a year and a half ago to the commissioners with the budget cuts and so on, that I don't think that my office, I have to appoint a payroll deputy. I don't believe that it should be that way. You have a payroll department in the county. They should be responsible, and they need a better system in place. And I said that from a year ago. So, and that's my recommendation back to the county.
Yeah.
So it doesn't happen.
So if this story had not come out, if it was not determined that the payroll records did not reflect any vacation time, he would have been paid like he was working, even though he was on vacation, and then those vacation days would have accumulated, and he would have been able to cash them in as well.
No, because I do have it recorded of his vacation days. We have a system that we record initially in our office, and then when it's sent over. Again, I can't answer why it wasn't sent over, but that's where the glitch was, and I'm surmising that it's been past practice. And I just talked to two payroll clerks that did payroll 5 years and 8 years ago, and they said the same thing. They were never required by the county for the managers to submit any time.
So what are you going to do now to make sure that this doesn't happen again with your managers or with anybody else for that matter?
Well, I could assure you, I could assure the general public, it will be submitted to payroll. I talked to them today about the problem, and it will be adjusted accordingly. And I'm going to recommend that, and I recommended it to Area Patrol today, that my department should not handle payroll, period. That's why you have a payroll department. In my opinion, there should be a centralized number that you call in, and time should be submitted accordingly to a centralized person other than someone in my office. And again, a year ago, I wanted a time clock installed, and, I got some heat from, different people about having a time clock for various reasons, of union reasons. So, and then I even requested that the county install a fingerprint type system, and I was told, we have no money and we're cash strapped. So, these are the things that I think that they should do, and, I'll talk about them to the commissioners. I can only recommend whether or not they listen. But I wanted to really stress the point, though, it came out like we were doing something illegal. With everything that's going on in the county, and that's why I took offense to it, and the chief did take offense to it.
Do you plan any discipline for your chief for shoving the microphone away when Joe Holden placed it in front of him?
Steve, you call it a shove. I call it, I call it, we talked earlier today. He moved it away from him. He's been a police officer 26 years, and, a natural reaction, so to speak. And then I don't know if they're going to show the rest of the tape, but, he did apologize, if he offended Mr. Holden. And, obviously I apologize as well, but I don't take it that he did it in a defensive manner to try to hurt anybody. I just think it was a natural reaction of being a police officer in your personal space.
Okay. You're at the Riverfest. I'll let you get back to work, and I appreciate you taking the time to walk us through this, Sheriff Savokinas.
Thanks, Steve.
Talk to you again.